hey, Tim's got his new book coming out. He'd love to be on your show as part of his book tour. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to talk to one of my all-time mentors and like see about getting him on the show. Yes. One of the main ways that I would get guests is I would say, what am I trying to learn in my business? And then I would put out a thing saying, hey, I'm looking for experts in what Tyler needs to learn. Yes. And then I would have those people come on the show and share all of their secrets that they would normally charge like major consulting fees or wouldn't even meet with you. So I mean, the number of like best-selling authors and top performing entrepreneurs and all these things like that are just really cool people that they at the time they didn't have a platform or a way to share. So they were like, yeah, I'll come on your show and share it. Like I never could have picked up the phone and said, hey, Tim Ferriss, can I ask you 30 minutes worth of questions? Like never. But he reached out to me. Like his team reached out to me and said, hey, Tim's got his new book coming out. He'd love to be on your show as part of his book tour. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to talk to one of my all-time mentors and like see about getting him on the show. Yes, whatever.
I would have loved to see the behind the scenes on that phone call. You know, as soon as you hung up, what happened after, that would have been incredible.
Yeah. Well, the random curveball in it is about a week before I had gotten a cease and desist from his legal team. But totally unrelated. Like my other business was doing something like we were getting a cookbook made and he was, so we were using a term that he used in one of his like blog posts. And then he was coming out with the 4-Hour Chef, which was starting to use some of his own terms. So they were just doing their IP protection, right? They're just doing normal stuff. But like the timing and the irony of like, hey, cease and desist, and hey, we'd love to be on your show. And I'm like, okay, two worlds, we'll keep them separate.
Such a contradicting image in there. It's like, which one do I go? But I bet it was amazing. And what year did you interview him?
I think that was 2013.
So about 2 years after, like 3 years after reading his book, 2 years after you started your podcast, you get the chance to connect with him. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was very similar with Todd Brown. Cool. Yeah, and he was episode 40, right? And he's probably gonna come back a second time, and so many people, right? Like, what's the opportunity to be able to have that conversation with people like him, people like you, right? And I think that shows the power of that platform. And then what you do after, right? It can tie down to your personal life on the relationship side. It could tie down to the business side if there's a mutual beneficial opportunity there for everybody involved. So there's so much there to unpack, and I highly encourage people to start, putting their message out there. Like, remove the friction. Like we talked with Tyler here, he does it very well in his business. He identifies exactly what he's really good at. He's willing to take risks, right? And these are all things that we talk about content and to put it out there, right? Like, there's a reason we use certain tools to remove the friction. Like, that's why we use StreamYard. It's very simple to use. We were trying Ecamm Live earlier and it did not work. Yep. So we're like, let's go back to StreamYard, right? Like, remove the friction for execution. So yeah.